right. Can you tell me about these pictures?
Well, these here are they're all of my dad except this one. This is my mom, and this is my mom. And this one here, we bought him a shotgun for Christmas in 1954. The rest of it, well, just, I guess, ordinary family pictures we got. Because this is one of my favorite positions too, you know, napping to this day. But no, that's outside of that.
Can you tell me what kind of person your father was?
Well, yeah, my dad and I got along beautifully well. We did. He was, well, in his last years, he was a plumber. And, well, he more or less taught me the trade. And he died quite suddenly. He died in Minneapolis. We rushed him down there because in Bismarck they said he had an aneurysm, brain aneurysm. They couldn't do the surgery down there. So we took him by ambulance down to Minneapolis, but by the time they got around for the anesthesia and stuff for his surgery, he had a heart attack and died. So outside of that, yeah, my dad and I were, I would say, very, very close. Yeah.
How did he express his emotions?
So, well, he was a quiet person in that respect. I don't know. And he loved children, he loved people. So it was just, how could I don't know how I could say it, but I think he was a kind, wonderful person, I do. My mother was, well, what should I say, kind of the boss. She was, well, from a totally different family, but still, well, I guess she run the ship, you'd say. More so than my dad did, yes. Which probably at the time was the thing to do. So,
can you describe your relationship with her?
With my mother? Yeah, I can. Well, she and I didn't see eye to eye as many things as my dad and I did. I remember one time in particular, she was trying to tell me who my friends could be or should be, and I said, don't try to do that to me. So we had a few unkind words over that subject. So, but yeah, we did all right. But my dad was actually a quieter type of a person. He was. Grandpa Hoover was a quieter person. Yet again, Grandma was the boss for the outfit, Grandma Hoover. So, yeah. But yeah, it was tough losing my dad. He died at age 58. So.
Right.
Okay. Yeah. This picture here, or where do you want to go to that one?
Let's start on this side.
If I remember right, I think this is Grandma Hoover's 75th birthday. Yeah, I'm quite sure it was. This is a picture taken, I believe it was right close to that same time. But she lived, well, a number of years after Grandpa did. So she was the winemaker.
Do you remember how she made it?
I have no idea what her recipe was, but boy, it tasted good.
What was your favorite kind that she made?
All of it. She made rhubarb was good. Choke cherry was excellent. There was even these little plants that still grow on the ground to this day, Camilla. She made wine out of that. I didn't like that though too well, but yeah. Yeah, I have a story with her. when I went to see her one day, I walked in the house, and of course, she lived to be quite a ripe age, but I never heard her speak a word of English. But she understood it all. All she would speak was German. Anyway, I went to visit her, and in German, I walked in the house, and I said to her, of course, in German, I don't know, do you understand German?
Go ahead.
She said, I said to her, was tust du heit? And she chewed me out royally. And I said, well, Grandma, why? And she said, because you should say, was du it ihr heit? The difference in words was respect. Du and ihr. You always said ihr to an older person. Well, some years after that, or sometime after that, I went to visit her again one day, and I walked in, and I did the same thing. I said to her, Großmother, was tust du heit? And she chewed me out again. And I said, well, Großmutter, ich bin schon verheiratet. She says, this macht nichts aus. It didn't mean nothing. I should still respect her. And that's something I'll never forget about her. That's right. And I would say she's the one, I could still speak German, some German to this day, but not fluently. But I don't think the Germans around here, we're what they called the Low Germans. And there was also what they called High Germans, and there is quite a difference. But I don't think anybody speaking Low German around here could lose me to this day. You know, that I would be completely lost in it. And I'm thankful to her. Because at home, we spoke very, very little German, you see. But every time when Grandma was around or you visited her, it was German. That was it. Yes. And this here is my youngest aunt on the Basler side. Why it's here, I don't know. This is Huber's, but this is my youngest aunt from the Basler side. It was Ida. She was one of my sponsors. But, well, she moved to California. I never saw her again. My folks did. Mom and Dad and my sister Greta and her husband Bill went out one time. I can't remember the year or anything, but they went out and visited her. And she died out there. She was the youngest one of the kids on the Basler side. And this here was a cousin of mine, my mother's sister's boy. Why, he was a year younger than I. And they came to visit us one time, he and his wife, from Vancouver, Washington. And we had a great, great time. They took to Sharon real well. That was years after my first wife. Sharon and I were married already. And they came to visit us. And then a couple of years later, he called, or earlier in the spring. He says, are you going to be home? Well, I said, when? Well, about such and such a month. I said, well, yeah, we can be home. Well, we're coming to visit you again. Well, then she called about 2 weeks before they were going to come. And he was out mowing the lawn in Vancouver, and she couldn't hear the lawnmower. And she went out, and he was laying behind a lawnmower dead from a heart attack. So.
What was his name?
Ivan Mazer. And he was, I believe he was a year younger than I. He had 2 brothers and a sister, but there's none of them left. They have all passed away. All of them. So I talked to his wife, I'd say about maybe 2 or 3 months ago. We called her. Pat was her name. And that clock that you see over there, that gray one back there, he made that. The wood and stuff and mailed it to us. Yeah.
All right.
And of course, this is the Huber family picture.
Okay. Can you tell me their names?
Yes.
Starting right there.
Oh, you betcha. Uh, well, yeah, this is Althor. This is, well, Ted Theo, he's listed as.
Okay.
And this is Otto.
All right.
And this is Aunt Mary. And this is Aunt Martha. And this was Aunt Katie. And this was Bernhardt. And then this was Jacob, my dad, Jr. Then, of course, Grandpa and Maria. His name was Jacob and Maria. That was his second wife. Yep. His first wife's name was Frida. I have it all written down in that other book. But anyway, well, you'll see it when you go through that Huber thing. But anyway, this was his first wife's sister. So, and I have no aunts or uncles left.
Were you close to any of those aunts and uncles growing up?
Oh, yes, very much so. Especially Ted. That's the one that I worked on their farm many, many times for a number of years. As soon as school was out, that's where I was at. And he taught me a lot of things, and he's the one that started Huber Construction. And, well, after my dad died, well, no, let's see, well, that was quite some time later, but I wrote my journeyman's exam and did my master's, and I did all the plumbing to the homes we built. And I worked for him for some time, Huber Construction. This guy owned Hayes Motor. I wouldn't say we were close, but Sharon and I bought a lot of vehicles through. And Aunt Katie here was, well, you could see she was a small, dear, wonderful person. I remember her very well. And she's the one that died on the day of her dad's funeral. We were waiting for them to come in to Hazen for the funeral. They didn't come and didn't come. And I don't remember how we got word, but this was in 1944. I was, 15 at the time. And finally we got word that she was getting the kids ready for the funeral, and she dropped over dead. So outside of that, no. Like I said, Grandpa was quite a gentleman, kind of the opposite of her. Yeah. But I have none of them left.
Right.
Yeah. You ought to go back to here.
We can go right here, I think.
Well, these are just, well, a lot of family pictures, really. Yeah, well, I can't even remember where they went that time. Up to the Peace Gardens, I believe. I didn't go, I had to work. But I know this is my wife, this was my brother, 2 of the kids, and this was my dad. Evidently, Mom must have taken the pictures. Yeah, my mom is on this one, so the wife must have taken this one. So, yeah, this, my sister and my mother, their favorite pastime, playing, what was it? Oh, that goofy card game. I hated it. Wow, what in the world? I can't even think of it now. I know it wasn't rummy or anything like that, but...
Was it whist?
What?
Was it whist?
No. For cripe's sake. I can't even remember. It'll come to me after a while.
All right.
Yeah. What this one is, I don't know. I know it's my dad, but this is a picture of myself, James, my brother, John, and a good friend who, well, he made Eagle Scout under me, Jim Bentley. We had come back from hunting up north of Hazen. There's 3 deer laying on the back of my 1940 Plymouth there. And it was 20 below when we came in. I'll never forget that. Oh, God, we about froze to death hunting deer. Canasta. Canasta. That was that goofy game. My mother would sit and play it for days.
All right.
I got to take a little better look at that. I think, yeah. My mother and my dad and my first wife and I had been up at Lake Ilo northern fishing. And, well, my first wife showed us how to fish. And those 4 northern, she caught 3 of them. And she had hardly ever fished before in her life. And that's her right there. I got 1, she got 3, and my folks got skunked. So that other one, I don't remember what, I know it's a catfish, but I don't remember the story on it, I don't. So.
Right. Did you go fishing often when you were a child?
Yes, we used to do quite a bit of fishing. Yes. And, well, when I used to do a lot of fishing, my youngest son still does a lot of fishing. In fact, he's got a pretty nice fishing boat, and he called the other day. He said he's coming up with it. And he wants me to go fishing with him on Father's Day, but I don't think I'm going to. We have, well, it was yesterday, we got an invitation to a birthday party to a 5-year-old, which would be, what, my son-in-law's daughter's little girl, so we're pretty close there, so I don't know what we're going to do yet. We'll see.
All right.
And this is me. I was either 4 or 5 years old, and that's the crib mill in the background. They knocked that chimney down later because it was getting, that's where we were up at crib and took those pictures of that wall up there. They knocked that down later because it was getting to be a dangerous thing, I guess, so.
What do you remember about Krem?
Very little. I was only 4 or 5 when we lived there, but later on, I remember I would catch a ride with the mailman. He would deliver mail to Krem, and you could ride with him, see? And then my uncle, who lived not too far up there, the Hoover Homestead, Alfred, would come over there and pick me up, and then I'd go to their place, bum around for a while. But I remember a grocery store there. I remember the guy that had the store, his name was Gottfried Heide. But outside of that, not much. So,
Right?
yeah. Now, where do you want to go? Here, here, here?
Wherever.
Well, this is a confirmation picture of me. There'll be another one I showed you later. I mean, I don't remember when this picture was taken, but I know it was one of the grade pictures. And this one, well, if you look over here, this is where the old Barleybury Chevy garage was. This was our neighbor lady. Her name was Toots Schwartz. And then, I don't know, I couldn't have been very old. I must have been more first or second grader on there, because I always was a little devil, a little short, I mean. This is my high school graduation picture.
Right?
Yeah.
Hold on just a second.
Yeah.
Were you close to your neighbors in town?
Oh, yes, yeah, she was a good old friend of mine. Her mother's name was Ma Schwartz. There were some brothers, too. But yes, they were older than I, of course. But yeah, we were very close to her.
Right.
Yep.
You said that's your confirmation picture.
This?
Nope, this one.
This one, yeah.
Yeah, Can you tell me about confirmation classes?
Yeah. There were only 5 boys. 4 of us are living yet. Wait a minute, if I could, I'll just out further than that. That's it in there, I don't remember. Thought it was one of it here. I think it's later. No, there it is, sure, that's it, you're right. Yeah, that's me, the short guy on the end. Yeah, then the one next to me was Donald Hovde. H-O-V-D-E-T. And he died. And then these two, well, here. This was Dallas Stetson and Donovan Stetson. They were twins. I still am in contact with him, with Dallas. He lives in Sheboygan, Wisconsin. And in fact, I should call him one of these nights again. And then this one, the guy on the end is Eugene Schmoll, S-C-H-M-O-L-L, and he lives, well, what, 10 houses south of me, roughly. He lives in the next block, let's see, yeah, not even 10 houses. Yeah. So
what things did you have to learn when you went to confirmation school?
Well, confirmation's the Bible, you know, everything. And we were supposed to, but we didn't really. And then during hunting season, well, sometimes we wouldn't show up, sometimes the preacher didn't show up. It was always Saturday morning. So that was more or less of a fun time than anything. I always said that.
Can you describe your confirmation ceremony?
Well, I could describe, they used to have what they call questioning night, where you sat in the front pew of the church, and your parents and aunts and uncles, oh, they'd be sitting behind you or whatever, and the preacher would direct questions at you. But it was a put-up job. We knew what questions we were going to be asked. We did, we honestly did. And oh, they thought we were really sharp, but that was not the truth. Yeah, I remember that well, I do. Yep. If Earl Ludd were here, my preacher at that time, he'd probably strangle me.
Go ahead.
Go ahead, what are you going to ask me?
What denomination were you raised?
Protestant, Lutheran, yeah. Yep.
Right.
You see, that question, getting back to that, this morning, the first church, or the cemetery we went to was Peace Lutheran. The second one we went to was St. Matthew's. Well, it's Missouri Lutheran compared to the other one, see. Okay. When my folks moved into town here from Krim, I was told this. I don't really remember it, but I do remember that we would go to this church one Sunday, and this side of the family was angry. And the next Sunday we'd go over here, and then this family was unhappy. So we went in the middle. We went to the English Lutheran Church. And that ended it. That's where we stayed all the years. So I remember that. Yep. And, well, yeah, during my first marriage, my first wife and I were married 18 years. Through that time, I served as assistant usher, head usher of the church for 12 years, and then I served as a trustee and a deacon after that. And I said I would never serve on a church office again. And then allowed a, well, what? Just trying to remember. Oh, I know my wife was married to the English Lutheran Church. But after Sharon and I were married, we went up here, this Peace Lutheran Church on the hill. So, and at one time, oh, they talked to me about running for office. I said, nope. I had enough.
So, when you were growing up, how important was religion to your family?
Well, I've often said I was born and raised in a family where we had to go to church, we had to go to Sunday school. Well, we were baptized, we had to go to Sunday school, we had to go to confirmation class, and, well, actually through my first wife, we were pretty active in church, we were. But it seems like somewhere along the line, you kind of drift away. Well, a couple things happened that I was not happy with over that church when I was serving on the, as a trustee or deacon, and well, then we transferred up here, and our last two children were confirmed up here at English, but we still, Sharon and I, are quite active at our church up here, yes. So, but I suppose, you know, yes, in 1987, in fact, April 27th, 1987, I wound up at Heartview alcoholism treatment. And I'll say to this day, it's not the greatest thing in the world to admit to, but it's probably one of the best things that ever happened to me. It truly is, all the way around, it is. Because, well, like I said, I was brought in a family where church was important, but I honestly, truly feel I found my God at that time. 28 days of alcoholism treatment. And like I said, it's better than 21 years now. I haven't touched a drop of alcohol. Yes. I quit smoking 38 years ago, 1970. Cher lived here. I think at that time I brought the wedding invitations up here. We don't even remember for sure, but she said something about smoking. I was a very, very heavy smoker. I used to bowl a lot at that time, and well, I was driving truck also for a while. Quite a while, in fact. They figured I drove 500,000 miles. But we made a dinner bet for 1 month. If I remember right, I won the bet, but I think I bought the dinner. And I quit smoking. I went back to work, and another guy working there smoked the same brand, and I was going to give him my cigarettes. No, they're loaded. I said no, and I threw them in a wastebasket. I haven't smoked or nothing since then. So like I said, I'm a stubborn, bull-headed German, and when I make up my mind, I can stick with it. True, I do, you know. That's a long time. 38 years, and I used to smoke at least 2 packs a day. And when I bowled, which I did, I bowled in 3 leagues. Some nights it was, or some days it was up to 3 packs a day. Can you believe that? And now I couldn't afford it, I don't think, what cigarettes costed. Not that I miss it. I'm happy about that, but I keep telling Sharon and people that I have no more bad habits. And if you don't ask Sharon, I can get away with it. See?
All right.
No, we've been married 38 years, so it's a long time. Yeah, this is a picture I mentioned earlier today. I don't remember how old I was. This is myself and my sister Greta. This picture was taken in front of an aunt and uncle's house in the east side of town. The house isn't there anymore. It's been so rebuilt you can't recognize it. But that's one of the pictures my sister and I, well, we fought over it for years and I wound up with it. So this scared as me. I don't remember really when that picture was taken. I know it's a school picture, but I don't remember when. I don't.
Can you tell me a little bit about how you got along with your sister when you were growing up?
Yeah, I can. You see, times were tough. Times were poor at that time. We got along well, but one day we got up one pair of roller skates together. And one day I decided it was my turn to have the skates. My sister had them on, and she didn't think she should have to take them off. We got into a bit of an argument. Well, I punched her. Down she went. And you know, that is the only day I can remember getting a licking from my dad. Because I ran off. I ran way down the other end of town, and my dad walked. But he was breathing down my neck. I was running, he was walking. And I got down to it was my cousin, my aunt and uncle's place. And there you could go up in the back end of an old shed. I ran up, down there, and I crawled up there. And he said I should come down, and I said, nope. Anyway, then he started coming up, and I jumped out the front of it was a tall shed, you know. Like an idiot, I ran home. And then when he got home, then I got it. That's the only time I can remember being spanked by my dad. Yep. But we got along all right, brother and sister. It was, well, I think 3.5 years between us, so it worked out good. When she got old enough to be dating, I didn't bother her, and when I got old enough, she didn't bother me, see, so worked out fine.
All right.
Yeah. Okay. No, we don't want to talk about those pictures. This is my high school graduation picture. This was a school. That's all we had for school at that time. And of course, Sid said, man, we have 3 schools. You know, it's just, it's really hard to believe. All the grades, high school, and everything was right here. Yeah. I played basketball. There was right down here, a little gym. And there wasn't room. There was benches on one side of it where people, when they sat there, had to tuck in their toes so you wouldn't run on them. But there was a little balcony. And then you crawled up some steps. Yeah. Yeah, that was, and I think, let's see, I got her to think now. Let's see, this one is gone. This is the guy that called my name, man, I was told. Dennis Moss, that's how your group found out about me. That's what I was told, in a way. He lives out in California. He's going to get a call from me. He was very instrumental in our 50th graduation. I graduated from Hazen High School 61 years ago. Oh, I'm an old man. And this gal here was very instrumental. She lives in Dickinson. And let's see. Just trying to, he's gone. He's gone. Where's Joe? Maybe he's the guy that I was counting. There's some of the pictures. I mean, some of the class aren't on here now. I remember who it was. Yes. See, this is the Stetson twin that I'm still in contact with, Dallas, and this is his twin brother, Donovan. Of course, they were not identical twins, you could see by any means. Yeah. I think there's 4 have died in our class. Let's see. He lives close to Hazen. He lives right close to Hazen. This one and this one were high school sweethearts or still married. Here's me. Let's see. Who died first? Ted Gutnick is not his picture. He died. Russell Krukenberg, it's him here, he's gone. The valedictorian of our class, he's gone. He lived in California. Who's the recent? Oh, Joe Flieger. 4 of them died. All boys. The girls are tougher, I guess. Yeah, as far as I know, there's no girls have died. Here's Joe right here. Sure. This one and this one, they were high school sweethearts. And he was in the service later. They lived in South Dakota. He died in Raleigh, South Dakota. Yeah. But that's really, really hard to believe when you think about it. All the school is in here. And now, well, there's a elementary across the street. There's a middle school across the highway, and then the high school. And well, one is he on? Yeah, this was the superintendent. Our principal was also the coach for everything. That's, football, basketball, girls basketball, track, everything. And yet he was a principal. Ready?
Well, can you tell me some of your other memories about high school?
Man, that'd be a long time. Hey. One I won't go into, no. If the word got out on that, I'd probably still be in trouble. No. I'll tell you after you turn it off. No, like I said, I'm in close contact with him. His brother, this one was an attorney, he's retired since. He was an attorney in Lisbon. And I know his wife died. First wife, I guess, I was told he remarried, yeah. But there's quite a few of them still live, right close by. Well, he lives close by. Hubert lives at Audrey. They live about 2 miles south of Hazen here. They're both retired. Robert was quite a big farmer south of here. He just died past 1.5 years or so. She lives, well, we drove by their place this morning just a little bit north of the cemetery. She's married to a Hannawald. So let's see what else. He is living in Beulah. Found that out just the other day. He had sold his farm and stuff, so. Let's see. She's in Bismarck. No, there's not much. We had we had a strong class. If one got into trouble, it seemed like we all did. One thing we did have was squealers in our class. That was, we were kind of organized that way, It just, and we put on 2 class plays. I know I was in both of them, but no, that would be it here, I don't think. This was when we were juniors. Let's see. Come on, here we are, junior class. Let's see. I know one of them was on Emma sees it through. Yeah, there it is. I'll never forget that one. I can't remember the senior class what we put on, but that on Emma sees it through. That was a wonderful, wonderful time. Like I said, we were a close-knit family, and I think I could name every one of my teachers from first grade through high school, if I had to. Yep. It was a fun class. We had a lot of fun. He's the only one I can remember we invited back to a class reunion. Superintendent Brawl. That I could remember, yeah. Ready? I got lots of pictures. That was my first pheasant hunting trip on my own with my dog. And before I went out, my sister said, everything I shoot, she will eat feathers and all. Well, she didn't do that, though, because I had brought back 4 birds. Had a 20-gauge single shot 20-gauge shotgun, Ivor Johnson, that kicked like 7 mules. Oh, that gun kicked. Oh. And this is the same time. Yeah. This is just a big deer I shot there, not much about that.
Can you tell me about your dog?
Yes. To me, he was one of the smartest dogs of the time. He would love to come to school with me. The only time he would leave the yard is if I called him. And he loved to sit on top of the slide. He'd climb the sliding board steps. Of course, I had to be behind him. His name was Ditzy. And he would climb the sliding board, and then he'd sit on behind, and then he'd slide down. But I had to be on the bottom to catch him when he got down there. Nobody else. It had to be me or he wouldn't do it. He loved to ride on a merry-go-round, and of course the little kids loved that. But when it got so fast, he jumped off. And he loved to sit on my lap and swing. The same way, when it got so high, he would bail off. And then we had a bully in our class, and the Stetson twins and I, while we were neighbors, we were walking home from school, and there was quite a bully in our class. And he loved to push around and hit people. While we were walking home, and he started in on us. And I said, I dare you to do that when my dog's close by. I'm not afraid of any dog. Well, all I had to do was whistle quite loud, and my dog come a-running. And I told this kid, now, I said, hit me. And he did like that. My dog grabbed me right across the wrist. And he tried to fight the dog off. Pretty soon there was blood running down. And I said, well, when you're tired of it and want to back off, I'll call my dog off. And he kept shaking, and that dog, you'd see, was not that big, but he had German Shepherd in him. He had some of these long teeth. I said, well, you make up your mind. Finally, call him off, call him off. Nope, the only way I'll call him off is if you say you're sorry. And he did. Well, I thought, sure, when I got home, I told my parents, and, well, at that time, even you could expect a lawsuit, you know. But I think his parents were glad it happened, because, you know, he was a lot less troublesome after that. Because when he got close to me, I always looked for my dog. He was very protective, that dog, he was. But it seems like, and we could never really prove it, but some elderly people hated dogs, and my dog, the Stetson twins' dog, they had a beautiful black and white collie, and another friend had an all-American dog, and there was either 12 or 13 dogs poisoned. And they found out it was strychnine. They found out who had bought strychnine, but we couldn't prove anything. But it was sad. This dog, they said, claimed that saved a neighbor girl's life. They lived across the street from us. She was a little tiger, but maybe a year and a half or 2, and she ran out onto the road. And a car was coming down the street. And my dog grabbed her by the diaper and pulled her back. And they claimed that. Yeah, then one more story about this. We lived with my Grandma Basler at this time. My Grandma Basler did not like dogs. This was the south entrance to the house. Over here, the west side of the house, there was a tree, and there was quite a bit of shade, and then my dog had dug out right outside the house, a hole to keep cool in. My grandma went back to the shed, and got a piece of tin, put it across that. My dog went around this side of the house and dug up her flower garden, dug up some of her flowers, and she was mad as heck. Well, I told her, if you would have done this to my dog, he would have dug up your flowers. Well, then one night, my folks were gone. I went to a movie. I came home, and my dog was in the house. See, my grandma lived back here in the back side of the house. She had a bedroom, living room, and then a kind of a porch to the east of the house. Back of this way, and I could not find my dog. Man, I was worried. I went up. This was a two-story house. I went upstairs. I didn't want to call because, well, I thought Grandma would be sleeping. I went up, my dog was upstairs. I came back down, and I could hear my dog whining. I went to Grandma's door, and then I could hear him on the other side of the door. I opened the door, I let him out, and oh my God. The next morning, she was telling my parents how great and wonderful the dog was. Somebody tried to break into the house while we were gone, and the dog would not allow it. After that, whenever I wanted my dog, he'd be laying in front of my grandmother's rocking chair. That's right, he was quite a dog. And he was an all-American dog, It's not a, it was great, though. Yep, old Nitsy. I remember him well, yep. This Nitsy again when we were hunting that day. Yeah, these are just deer pictures. This one is my first wife. This picture was taken at a carnival. One of those booths. And, let's see. Now I would be lazy reading the paper out loud, I guess, but this one was taken on our honeymoon in the Black Hills. I was holding a coon. And this is when we poured the basement to my sister and brother-in-law's house. This was my vehicle. 36 Ford pickup. That other one I was goofing off. My wife took a picture.
How did you meet your first wife?
At a dance and zap. Yep. And they lived on a farm, 2.5 miles south of Zap. 2.5 miles south, a little bit east. Yeah.
What other things did you do as dates when you were with her, besides going to dances?
We went to movies. That's a story, too. That one time, I went out to get her to go to the show in Beulah. When I walked into the house, her dad and two of the brother-in-laws, one of her brothers and a brother-in-law, they were sitting there playing pinochle. And I walked in, and her dad always called me Hoover. Anyway, he went into the house, and there was a little room there. Then he went into the kitchen or into the dining area. Her dad called me, "Come in here." So I walked in there. "Do you know how to play pinochle?" I said, "Never played pinochle in my life." "Well, how do you expect to get into this family if you don't play pinochle?" Well, I almost got a divorce before we got married because I got into this pinochle game and we never made the movie that night. Yeah, my father-in-law laughed about that for a long time after that. God, she was mad at me. Played all our kids, grandkids. Sharon and I taught them all how to play pinochle. So, yes, carnivals. There used to be a lot of carnivals at that time. But yeah.
Right. Can you tell us about your wedding day?
Wedding day. Not much. We got married in Zap. And my sister and brother-in-law were our tenants, yeah. Where did we have? We left right after that. If I remember right, that's a long time ago. You know, that was 1950. Wow, that's 58 years ago. Yeah. We had our wedding supper in Bowman, I believe. Yeah, right. And we went out into Black Hills. Wow. Just trying to remember.
All right. All right, go ahead.
See, this was her dad. And this was her stepmother, Anna. She was a wonderful woman. She really was. I loved her until the day she died. She was wonderful. This picture here was her stepbrother-in-law, Werner, and then my wife. Her name was Charlene, by the way, C-H. Yeah, this is, God must have been when they came home from church. That's one thing they were very consistent about, is going to church. They went to church in Zap, so. Yeah, this is some more of her family, and these two, so. What do we got over here? Let's see. Oh, yeah, that's some more of the family there. I think, yeah, that's Sam Fuchs' obituary. He was buried over at Richardson with his first wife. So. This was some homemakers club. I can't remember the name of it. I know my wife belonged to it. I know quite a few of the faces on there, but not all of them. But this was my wife right here. Third one, top row of the left. I can't remember the name of the club. I can't. Ready?
Ready.
Well, let's. That's my dog Nitzy again. I remember that picture. That was my sister's idea. Yeah, this here is some more of those deer that we shot that time. But that's okay. This is a cabin. My folks, this is above one of the bays of Garrison Dam. This was the first cabin over there. This building was moved over there from Pick City. And then, well, my dad, myself, my brother-in-law built on this addition. But now, this back here is all cabins. Yeah. And this one here was a garage, Dodge Plymouth. Was it Dodge Plymouth? I don't remember. It is a garage on Main Street of Hazen that burnt down on the night of a Boy Scout Court of Honor. And I know it was in the winter. It was colder than heck. I was on the fire department. And I quick went home. I put on my heavy insulated clothes. And right alongside of this was a creamy. We went on the roof of this creamy and squirted a city hose down into this fire. The Beulah Fire Department was in front of it. They shot water up. Myself and another guy got soaked. And it froze our zippers shut tight. Solid ice when I got home. My wife had to break ice to get my zippers open. It was crazy. The rest of those are just, I don't even know what they are, really.
Okay.
What are these? Let's go ahead. Yeah.
This side?
Those are pictures of my brother as he was growing up.
And what was his name?
Wait a minute here, am I right? Yeah, John. I thought, well, that was Mark. I better not be. Yeah, okay. Oops. That was Betsy, yeah. Yeah. Yep.
Did you get along well when you were growing up?
No. Uh, I don't, I guess I should just say roughly no, but we had our differences. He was 16 years younger than me, so it was, I guess, well, and then especially when this thing happened with him, why, I said at the time that I think to this day that my sister-in-law, his wife, was probably more important to me at that time than he was. Really. Of course, now, he's incarcerated. I have nobody else. My mom, my dad, my sister, brother-in-law, they're all gone. He calls every so often, and I, well, try to help him out financially, as there's a limit to that too, though, see, in that place, so. But, well, like I said, nobody else is there for him anymore, so. I know my sister there, and I know they were very close through the years, but, so, yeah, this is Bill, my brother-in-law. Ready?
Yep.
Okay. Oh, this is my, family for my, Shadi not any of that? No. Oh, just the three and then all four of them. Tim and Tom, Elizabeth Ann, and Mark David. Yep. Yeah, this is,
Can you tell me their names on this one?
yeah. Well, this is Tom, Mark David, Elizabeth Ann, and Tim.
All right.
Yep. Yeah, we built a new home. I can't remember. Let's see, my first wife died at 68. Golly. See. 32, yeah. Anyway, after she had passed, one time I came home, and this was sometime later. Anyway, he was sitting on a kitchen cupboard. He had a spray hose from the kitchen sink faucet. He was watering them down. Well, you can imagine what I had to say. Oh yeah, they were quite an ornery bunch too. Yeah, go ahead. I'm just looking at something. Yeah, that was Tim's. Yep. This is Zach. Yep.
And who is Zach?
Yeah, Zachary David. Okay.
And he's your son?
He's shared in mine. Yep. Jeez. And I've said many, many times, I'll say it again, that I think God blessed Sharon and I, because, well, it's one thing that even as we were dating, we talked about having more kids. And we did have two of them. So, yeah, we were, well, very, very fortunate, I think. They're pretty doggone close. And this is his confirmation picture down there, yeah. So, yeah. There's a lot more pictures there. This is Dorothy. Yeah, she graduated. Well, Zach graduated from UND, and she graduated from Berry College. And she's the one that, well, she worked for the North Dakota Bankers Association. She goes on numerous trips. She'll call her mother, invite her to go along. So, yeah.
Right.
Zach was called last night. Well, these are grads. This is my grads. Yeah. Okay, go ahead. And, oh, this is Dorothy again there, too.
Right.
She played high school volleyball 5 years and the University of Mary 4 years.
Right. What are these pictures of?
Well, these are both those pictures of my dad. But this is, of course, way before my time. I have no idea where they were taken, but they came over to my place. When my mom died, my sister Greta took the pictures, the albums over to her place. And when she died, her son sent a bunch of these pictures over here. That's how I got them. So,
okay.
Yeah, I have no idea what.
Looks like he's holding.
So, pardon?
Looks like he's holding.
He's holding a gun here. It looks like a .22 because there's a front sight on it. So, I would guess anyway. Yeah, there he's all dressed up. Why, I don't know. But
All right.
there, yeah. Yeah, this is, wait a minute. Yeah, this is Grandpa Hoover's funeral. And, well, let's see. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Who's missing out here? Well, who am I missing? Oh, Aunt Katie. Yeah, all their kids are on there, but Aunt Katie. And she died the day of his funeral, of her dad's funeral. And the kids in front, I think I know who 2 of the girls are, but the rest I am not sure. I think 2 of the girls were Otto's daughters, but I haven't decided who the rest of them are. So, yep. This picture is of my sister Greta and myself. And boy, I could have been more than what? 3, 4 years old. I know the horse belonged to Uncle Arthur, and that's him standing here. That's about all I know about that picture.
Did you often get to go horseback riding?
No, well, not until some years later at Ted's. He had a half Shetland that was fun to ride, yes, but not at this farm until, well, years later. But I don't remember this. I don't even remember when this picture was taken. I don't. So,
okay.
But I know who's on it. That's about it.
Were you close to this uncle?
Yes, I worked for him. Well, this Uncle Arthur and Ted farmed together as Hoover brothers for some years. And I spent time at both farms, but mostly at Ted's. Yeah.
Great.
Yep. Well, this is that same picture the first day I hunted pheasants. My mother is cleaning the birds, and then myself and my dad sitting on the front steps. And that was Grandma Basler's house. I think that's Yeah, my dog is squeezed in between there. I thought he had to be. He usually was.
All right.
This picture here, I am not positive, but I know my mother and dad are on it. Lee Burns and his wife. I tried to think of it before and I couldn't come up with it. And I think the other couple on that picture was Righty Schmalls. They were, it's taken off of a high butte someplace, and I think it's probably in the Mad Haven country. I'm not positive though. I'm not. I have no idea who would have taken the picture either, but it's one of those that was sent over from Greta's. But I know that this is my dad. This is Lee Burns' wife. This is Emma Schmall, Righty Schmall, my mother, and Lee Burns is the way I got it figured out anyway. So.
Were these some of your parents' friends?
Yes. Yeah, they were together a lot, these people. Righty and Emma, well, she had the same, that was his first wife. But anyway, well, she had the same first name my mom did. Yeah, they were together a lot in those days. And these Lee Burnses too, quite a bit after. Yes.
What would they do when they got together?
Well, sometimes they would go on like a fishing picnic, on a Knife River, or they would play cards, or it was hard to say what, just get together for lunch or dinner or something, that's.
Right.
Yep. That one, I think maybe we should just skip, because, well, I know who the one, well, I know who they are, but the little guy I don't know.
Okay.
But we'll just skip that one, I think, for now. This one, I'm not, well, I think this was, of course, this was taken in the winter. We had lots and lots and lots of snow. And this is my pickup sitting back in here. I'm on top of the snowbank with my brother, John. And, oops. I know this, the one of the hat is my dad, and I believe this is Greta and the oldest daughter, Susie. And that's about it to that, but I know as a winter we had lots and lots of snow. That outside of that, I'm not even sure what year that would have been. That picture too, I think we'll skip. It's, I know who they are. Two cousins and a friend, but that is my mother and dad's wedding picture. Where it was taken, well, let's see. I think in the book there it says they were married in the Mad Haven area, but I'm not, of course. But I know it's Dad and Mom's wedding picture.
Do you know how they met?
I have no idea about any of that, no. I don't know, that was never talked about that I can remember, no. So.
Okay.
See, this is very similar to that one other picture. That See, this picture is, let's see, I can't remember if, no, that could have been, could it? I don't remember if that's when they got married or if that was an anniversary, but this is Dad's brother Otto, his wife Frida. This is Ed Gross. Well, he was the groom, and this is Dad's sister Martha. And this was, well, it was Ed's sister. See, what did she write it down? Mrs. Albert Gross. I couldn't remember her name. It's Mrs. Albert Gross. So no, it could have been Ed's sister, his sister-in-law. Yeah. But this was Dad's sister, and that was his brother, Otto. Otto, Frida, Ed, Martha. I tried the other night to think of her name. I couldn't, so.
Were you close to any of them growing up?
To what?
Were you close to any of these people when you were growing up?
Well, I was pretty close to Ed and Martha. I didn't know her too well, but and Otto and Frida. Frida was, well, I would have to say, I guess, one of my favorite aunts, because I had a few of them, but yeah, I always liked her. She just, Otto was more of a businessman. He just, a little different, but, because through plumbing years, I did a lot of work for them, but, you know, they never had any children. Martha and Ed, they never had children.
Right.
But I liked them. Yeah, I did. I liked them as relatives, yes. This was a cousin of mine. She got married very young, and they left here, and I was always hoping to get to see her again, and I never did. She was, I guess I'd have to say, kind of a close relative, you know, as we were growing up. And I never got to see her again. So they lived, gee whiz, after they left here, someplace in North Dakota, I know. Then they moved to Minnesota. They had a set of twin boys. And if I remember right, I think they had a daughter too, but I know they had a set of twin boys. Glenn and Gail, I can remember, but the reason I think they had a daughter, when Zach was going to the university, he was always quite interested in computers and stuff. And one time when he came home, he said that he was helping out in some computer class, and the person he was helping out was a relative. And well, I was stumped. One thing led to another, and here it was their daughter. I never met her to this day. I still have no idea who the heck it could have been.
And what was her name?
Eunice and Roy Balke. Yeah, she had 3 sisters. The one of them died quite young. That's the one where, when Sharon and I went on that cemetery tour, I thought she was in that one cemetery. I found out I had the wrong cemetery. We did find her grave, but yes, and her 2 older sisters are still living, both in Bismarck. Yeah. In fact, I talked to the one of them not long ago. She was up here. And I told her I had a picture of her marriage. You do? I said, yep. How'd you get it? I said, I got it from Greta, my sister. Her name is Greta. Yeah. I've got it in there, but I didn't get it out, so. Yeah. She died, I believe, yeah, in Minnesota someplace. But, yeah, okay. Yeah, this family, this was Jacob Basler's. No, sorry, Jacob Undersairs. I did that to Sharon the other night. It's Jacob Undersairs. This was my dad's sister.
And her name?
Maria. No. What? Why am I doing that? Mary. His name was Jacob and Mary Undersairs. And they're all dead except this one. She's in a nursing home over at Beulah, I found out the other day.
Were you close to this family growing up?
Not really, no. I was for some years closest to this one because my cousin worked for him. And then, I'm still, friendly with her. But I found out just this past week that she's in a nursing home at Beulah. This one was married 3 times. She lost 3 young sons at the same time in a fire here in Hazen. And I remember that well. She was married to a Newman. Anyway, it was at the east end of town. There was a fire. 2 of the kids were home. The third one ran home from school. He opened the door and ran, and he fell into the basement that had been burnt out. He died too. So that was a sad memory. Still is. Let's see, and yeah, it was Harold. Harold, Roland, Reuben, Ida. No, this was Ida. This was. Couldn't think of her name the other day either when Sharon asked me. I didn't. This picture. Oh, wait. Here we go. Yeah, Mary. Right. Oh, and his daughter either. Still lived. Elma. Okay. Sharon wrote him on the back. This was my Aunt Ida Basler. She was married to, how can I put it, my best friend's dad in California. Then I never saw her for many years after I never did see her again after she left here. So that was Aunt Ida, yeah. Nope.
All right.
Yeah. I just wanted to look. Oh, yeah. This here, if memory serves me right, I think this was my 4th grade class. I'm on it right here. I can name a lot of kids out there, but not all of them. But this teacher I can name, Miss Walhood. Yeah, it's.
Can you tell me about the school building? What it was like inside?
Well, I know one thing. When you got up to the 7th and 8th grade, you were on the top level. And in the winter time, the wind blew through there like you would believe. It was just a plain old brick building and not insulated. Oh, it was a cold building, it was. Just a plain old schoolhouse. And down here, below this is where the gymnasium was. It's down the ground, though, see? Yeah, I went to school there 11 years in that old building. I went to school in Beulah 1 year. My folks had interest in a cafe up there. And the rest of the 11 years I spent in this building. Yep. I'm supposed to take this picture out to one of my former classmates and see if. It's funny how, you notice all the girls are back. And I was going to see if she could name some of them that I can't.
Right.
Yep. Which one is this? Oh yeah, that's that picture, that the family group. That this picture was taken up by a professional photographer up here at the church up here, Peace Lutheran Church. She had made arrangements. There are other pictures too of separate family pictures. But yeah, this is my oldest son Tim and his family. This is Tom. He was married, divorced, never remarried. They had no children. And this is Zach. Well, I don't know how to put that one. He's had a girlfriend off and on for 7, 8 years, I think, so I don't know. And then this is Dorothy. She's married to Brad Lick in Bismarck. And of course, this is Sharon and I. This is Ruby Beck. She happened to be visiting us, and we invited her on the picture with us. She's a sister-in-law for well, actually a stepsister-in-law of my first wife, but has been close to us through the years. She's in a nursing home in Idaho. Yeah, this is son Mark. Lives in Las Vegas, never married. He'd rather go hunting than fishing. And this is, well, we call her Big Ashley. I'll tell you why in a minute. This is, well, my oldest daughter, Betsy's stepdaughter. And then this is Betsy. And then there's her oldest son, Bill. Bill the third, actually. And then this is her, little Ashley. That's her daughter. This is her stepdaughter. They're both named Ashley, but spelt differently. And this is Brett. And it was about this time or shortly thereafter, he was dating a girl that was Ashley also. So, but he married a girl from Denver. And Sharon, and I think she's the greatest. But they're father, mom to that little hellcat. And whenever he does something wrong, I said, well, that's got to be from the Denver country. Because us people in North Dakota have never done that. And then she'll look at me and she'll say, I don't believe you, Grandpa. So, yeah.
All right.
Then, well, I don't know if you want to get these, but I just want to go through them quickly, if you don't mind. Great-grandkids. I think they're all great-grandkids. Well, no. Yeah. Who the world is that? Ah, man. Yeah. This is the little hellcat. Yeah. No, these are steps. And I got pictures here. Oh, this is my little great-granddaughter, our little great-granddaughter, Sophia from Bismarck. And this is the little hellcat. That's him again. No, I take that back. That's young Krause, Dallas Krause's young guy. And my son Zach is his godfather. So he kind of calls us Grandma and Grandpa too. And then this is my oldest grandson and his wife, and these two girls are my great-granddaughters. And then this is the one from Dickinson, Kinsey. I'm going to show you one quick picture. I thought it was in this bunch, but I got one in there. It's 5 great-grandkids, 3 of them less than a year old, the other 2 a little older. And you try to range them on a Davenport and get pictures. Yeah.
All right.
Yeah, this is Governor Norman Brunsdale. And this was, oh, that's a different, I got 56, but that was in 55. This is, let's see, I gotta double check. This is James Bentley. This is Milford Getz. This is Etta Vinci. This is David Bentley. And Bruce Stolting. And the middle one died. He passed away, this past year, I believe. Well, in 2006 or 7, I believe, yeah. Then, of course, these are all individual pictures that we took. But these pictures were taken by the scout exec at that time, the Bismarck office, Missouri Valley Council. He took all of these.
Okay.
These were kids in my scout troop. I can still name them all to this day. It's, yeah. He was a wonderful guy. He really kept me influenced on in the scouting world. And these pictures are of people that helped in the scouting program. But every one of these adults has passed away.
Really?
Yes. And they were, just very, very good friends. And even in those days, they even had the band play for that court of honor. Yeah. Yeah, but this was, all these guys were good friends of mine. And they're all gone, every single one of them. That's why, when go to cemeteries and stuff and see these, brings back a lot of memories. See, these were two uncles of mine. They owned a Chevy garage, and they were responsible, the guy that owned the grocery store here, the insurance company, also the guy, they sent us to the Black Hills, South Dakota for a week trip. And they paid all the expenses for us. Wow. Yeah. We took 28 kids and 2 adults. Well, actually 3, but the one drove a car and his wife drove a car down, and then they continued on their trip. And my brother-in-law and I stayed in tents with the troop that week. But we went to many, many things, and the people in the Black Hills, they treated us so royally. Like we went to the Passion Play. When we got there, they reserved an area that I'm sure would have held 50, 60 people. And we got in for half price. Yeah, and they said, I told the man there that when we got there, we were told to ask for a certain person, which I did, and it said that, well, if you need these other seats, use them, sell them. Oh, no, they're reserved for you guys if they want to stretch out or something. Went through a gold mine, half price, all those things. The people were they were wonderful to us, the fish hatchery things. And, yeah, I've got a lot of that written down in another notebook. So, somebody said I should, well, for one thing, the library is looking for old history and stuff. I hate to part with it. I won't part with it, but I've kept it all these years, well, 50s. Yes. Yeah, that was, see, here's lots of pictures. Oh, another thing is the Scott uniform. My troop bought that. That was the size of my scout troop. Yeah, and I went to a meeting with my brother-in-law, and the next thing I knew, I was a scoutmaster. Yeah, and oh yeah, I got lots of stuff here. That God's Reward one, I still got that, and it just been fun. And a lot of times when they have high school reunions, they have a scout reunion breakfast. So I guess that's about it.
All right, can you tell me where we're standing right now?
Where? Well, alongside of my Grandpa Baisler's tombstone.
And what cemetery is this?
This is called the Hazen Cemetery. It's the Peace Lutheran, actually. Peace Lutheran Hazen Cemetery. Yes. So.
Can you tell me a little bit about your grandparents?
They came over from Russia. I don't know exactly how. We don't have that history, but I do know they arrived in Mercer County in 1928. They settled. No, I take that back. It was earlier than that because they settled north of Krebs, and then they moved into Hazen in 1925. So my granddad was, well, pretty handy man with many things. So yeah. So I don't know. I grew up with them, so well, partially. So I don't know.
Did you get to know them very well?
Yes, I did. I was well. Let's see. I was 12 when Grandpa died, and let's see, I was what? 29. I was 16 when Grandma died. Yes, I knew them quite well. They lived a few blocks from where we did. At that time, then later on, we moved in with my grandmother and took care of her until she died. Yes.
Do you remember their funeral?
Yes, I do. Yes, very well. Yes, and the kids were all home except the youngest one. She was in California. Ida was in California, but the rest of them were here. And I did have a picture, but I just don't know what happened to it when Grandpa died. Grandpa Baisler died, so yeah.
Can you describe their funerals for us?
Oh, well, at that time, usually they took the caskets to the house. And then they went to the church, and then from there, of course, out here. So, yes, it was different than it is nowadays, very much so. So,
right.
Yeah.
What other memories do you have of your grandparents?
Oh, well, let's see. Well, I guess the biggest thing is that they were stubborn, bull-headed Germans like I am. Grandpa Baisler was, well, quite a quiet man. He liked his beer, I remember that. And Grandma would get quite angry at him sometimes, but that's life, so. Outside of that, well, not too awful much, I guess, so.
Did you ever stay with them when you were younger?
Not, well, I don't remember that. No, I don't believe so, but we did live with Grandma Baisler here for about 3 to 4 years after Grandpa died. We lived with her to take care of her, yes. So.
All right.
Okay. Yeah.
All right.
Okay.
Tell me where we're standing now.
Well, this is an aunt and uncle of mine. She was a daughter to Grandma and Grandpa Baisler, yes. So I don't remember them too awful well, but we didn't associate too much with these people. But they had 4 daughters, and they're all gone. They've all died. They've all passed on. Yes. And he was well, the Hazen cop for many years. So that I remember. He was a butcher. He was a cop. So yeah. And you notice. He died in 43, and she lived till 74. Yeah. So.
How far away did they live when you were growing
About 5 blocks is all. See, Hazen at that time was quite small. Way back then, we were like 600-700 people is all. So now we're a little over 2,000. We were over 3,000 when the energy boom hit, but we have lost. We slid back. So anyway, that's so okay.
All right. All right. Can you tell me where we're at now?
Well, we're in the other half of the Hazen Cemetery. And this was actually the English Lutheran, part of the English Lutheran Cemetery, but it's all Hazen Cemetery in this area. And we're at the grave of, well, my mom, my dad, and my first wife. So.
Can you tell me about your mother?
My mother was, well, she worked many different jobs, and she was Hazen Outstanding Woman of the Year. I don't remember which year, but and she was a wonderful cook, very wonderful cook. My dad was a plumber for many, many years, which I followed, I guess. That's what I was. So, yeah, my dad died very young. He was 58 when he died. My mom was 91 when she died, so, yes.
Can you describe your relationship to your parents?
Well, I guess through the years, like most young people, I had a good relationship with them. I did. I often have said that, well, like in school, if I got into trouble in school, I wasn't worried about that as much as when I got home. My mother was the tough one. Yeah. Yeah, and I worked with my dad, junior, senior years at high school, and kind of picked up the plumbing trade. And after he passed on, well, then I took over, wrote my exams and stuff, so, yeah. So,
Okay.
I can move over to my wife. Yeah, this was my first wife, and she died at a very young age, 36. We had 4 children together. She was a very, very, very wonderful person, she was. But, well, Hodgkin's disease got a hold of her, and she, if I remember right, lived 5.5 years, and she passed on, so, yeah. We were married 18 years.
In what year were you married?
1950. Yep. So, you going to get a picture of that, or should I? I laid those flowers down. They had them covering the. Yes. That's my plot. When they put me down, that's where I'm going to be buried. Yeah. Right between my mom and my first wife, yeah. Okay, this is the gravestone of Grandma and Grandpa Huber, and that was Grandpa's second wife. His first wife died back in Russia, and then he married the sister. And all of the children on the Huber family picture are except one they had together. So a couple of them were born in Russia, some in Mad Haven. So my dad, pictures we just took over there, was born in South Dakota. So, and then, well, Grandpa Huber was a kind and gentle man. He really was. Grandma Huber was, well, quite different, but I think she made the best wine in the world. She always had homemade wine on hand. So, yeah. And then, should I go to that one? This is their son, Theo Hoover, Ted, and his wife Ed, and they were like my second parents. I worked on their farm for many years, and they really taught me a lot about life, a lot about farming. And after they moved to Hazen, he started Hoover Construction. I worked for him there a few years. I finished my plumber's license, and I did all the plumbing on the homes that they built, or we built. So, but they were very close and dear to me. So, ready? Okay, this here was an aunt of mine, which happened to be my dad's brother. This was an uncle of mine, which was, wait a minute, I got it wrong. But this was my mother's brother. They married, my dad married his sister, and he married my dad's sister. So the families, well, we had what you call double cousins. So, yeah. And she died on the day of her dad's funeral. Aunt Katie did, yes. So outside the grave there was their oldest son. So that's about it.
Were you close to them growing up?
Yes, this family here, yes. Well, their son, he's what, 2 years older than I. We were, well, I guess a lot like brothers when we grew up as teenagers and stuff. We were together an awful lot, yes. So they had, what, I believe 9 children, and there is 4 left. All the rest are gone too, so. Okay?
Can you tell us where we're standing?
Well, this is supposedly the old Krebs mill where they used to grind wheat into flour many, many years ago. So, yeah. So, it was just kind of interesting to be here. And I talked to an older farmer a few days ago, and he said that's what it is. See, somebody told me it was on the other side of the road, but I said, no, I don't think so. So I talked to him too, so. Yes, and then, of course, there's the other Krebs Cemetery, so. And then we used to live just over there, well, on the other side of a fence over there when I was either 4 or 5, so.
Right.
But I don't remember much of that.